Hey guys, Andy from BFA, and this one goes out to all the Dmax enthusiasts and obviously the followers of the channel. Thank you for liking, subscribing and commenting on the content. I really appreciate it a lot. I'd just like to say that before we get into the video. So, just quickly, I bought this car in 2014. So I've owned it for about 6-7 years now. I got it from a dealer in Ipswich called Blue Ribbon, secondhand. It had something like 34,000 kilometers on the clock already. So it had a previous owner for 2 years. It is a late 2012 model. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to go over the car. I'll show you a picture of what it was to what it is now. I've obviously done a lot of mods to it. As I'll walk around and show you, you'll be able to gauge what I have done. I'll try and give some prices along the way, but if I can't remember them off the top of my head, I'll drop them in little comment sections. So I'm going to try and be as honest as I can with you guys. All the problems that I've had with it since I've owned it, you know, aside from the mods, what I've had to replace. So you can gauge, you know, you see all these posts where everyone has all these horror stories, like in the first year or over a couple of years, you know, their cars go to shit or they're just complete lemons from the start. And then you have people who have all these great stories and they swear they've never had anything wrong, they've never had to change a thing except maybe a timing belt. And grats to you, but you know, if you use your four-wheel drive for what it's meant to be, you know, if you add mods and lifts, then you're more than likely to have a couple of small little issues that you need to change over the time, you know, your brakes, CVs, that sort of thing. And I've had to do that myself, so I'll let you know what I've done as best as I can remember. Let's get to the video. I'll show you around. We'll start with the front of the car now, okay? So this is the front end of the Dmax. What I've done, I've added an AFN bar. And the reason I added an AFN bar is because I really like the look. They're rigid, you know, I'll give you a great review as I go on this particular bar. A lot of people that I've seen on the pages have had issues with them. They say they're not as sturdy or that they're not mounted properly, but usually that could be just the dealer or the manufacturer who you've gone through or the shop to mount it properly. I mounted this myself with a mate. Thanks Josh, cheers brother. It took us a while. We'd never done it before. Basically, we thought we could do it in the afternoon, so we started after lunch and that went till like 9 o'clock at night. And then we eventually threw our hands up when we couldn't get it to fit properly and we went back till about 12 o'clock and researched what we were doing wrong. And it turns out we were missing a bolt here and there. So next morning, I went and got the bolts and we fitted up properly. And as you can see, she's all good. I'll show you a quick video around of how it looks mounted. This is a non-chop, so it was straight, just remove the bottom bumper and then it fits. So it's one of the reasons why I really liked it is that I didn't have to chop anything. It looks really good. It's rigid and it sits closer to the body than some. So personally, I like that look. That's how close it sits, around there. We'll move around. It did come with these bash plates, and these, you know, you could call them recovery points, I guess. It comes with the hole for your winch, etc, etc. So, you know, nothing really different to the likes of your ARBs and your Ironmans and whatever else is on the market, except it's personal choice when it comes to a bar. I did put a King's light on. Now there's a story behind that. Is, you know, when most people start out camping, they don't have a caravan or a tent, or you know, you see this new product on the internet. So my product that I saw on the internet was the King's double swag, and I thought that's perfect because I'm used to a swag. I did have a swag when I was younger and I did find it a little bit too small. So this double swag, and we're going back, you know, 6 years when they first brought it to the market, maybe even longer, I don't know. So I got this double swag and it was this new beaut thing, and at the time they were giving away free products, you know, like a little 12-watt fan or a light or something like that. So I'm pretty sure that I bought 1 or 2 products and I did get that included. It hasn't let me down. You know, I've had it on the car for 5 years, 6 years, or since ever they've had it or whatever. It's never let me down. I do use it. So, you know, I've had other King's products. I'm not here to do reviews on King's products, but you know, I just want to let, without going into the other things that I've had issues with, I'm going to let you know that this light bar has held up and it's been good to me. So what else? I have a GME aerial and system inside as well. I put that on, it was a couple of $100. I think I got it from, where would it have been? At the time, it very well could have been somewhere like BCF. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to look at receipts. And you know, that's worked too. It's been really good, really exciting when we're on a long road trip and you get all the truckies or whoever's on the road and they're just talking a bit of shit. It's good to keep you up, have a bit of a laugh. Some custom plates on, that's the acrylic stuff. As you can see here though, it feels like you can kind of see a little split there in the acrylic. So they've been good, but they're obviously not as rigid as they say they are or as the metal plates. They're 17-inch rims and I got them from Tyre Power in Harvey Bay. At the time, I replaced the original rims that came with the Dmax. There was nothing wrong with them. Obviously, I like the black on black look and it was personal preference for those. And I did have just some normal road tires on them until I realized I needed something a little bit better. And these are Goodrich Ko2s. And they're 265/70 R17s. The tires and the rims have been good to me. I feel like after the lift though, because I did put a 2-inch lift on it from Fulcrum. I'll actually quickly show you that. A bit dirty, but you can see under there. Now what it's done, and this is you know, the lift's been good to me. The wheels have been good to me, but I think combined they're not quite right. I'm gonna have to drop the wheel size or tires. I'm not an expert, so I don't know exactly what I'm gonna have to do, but I'm gonna have to do something, because what's happened, I've had these on here for probably, I don't know, 2 years, and that's pretty good, you know, like the tire still has a lot of grit, a lot of wear. They basically look brand new on, you know, on that mass, but when you come inside, what it's done, and I think it's pretty much on hard lock when I'm coming out the driveway or, you know, on hard lock, as you get me. What's happening is it's scraping. You see that white there? It's like chewing into the tire. And see how up here, how it's very sort of shiny? I'm guessing that's where it's hitting. Okay? There, bump, stop. So that's what's happening, and that's sort of what's chunking out the tire. So I don't like that. I'm gonna have to do something about that, and I'll get onto that pretty soon. I only noticed it the other day. Okay, it is, while we're still at the front of the car, it's a black car, as you can see. Now what's happened over the past 6-7 years since I've owned it, so it is a 2012 late model. It's 2021 now. It's 9 years old, going in 2022. So the car's, you know, it's 9 years old. The paint's been good, and there's been a lot of talk about the paints on these things for a couple of years now, where people have problems where they're not coated properly, or the clear's peeling, and you know, the inside bits aren't done. So I have to agree that the paint on these things aren't anything special at all. I would have thought I would have got more than 9 years out of, you know, brand new paint. But look what's happening on the bonnet. So it's getting all that oxidization that you just don't want, and so that's not very good. I've got to get that looked at. I think I got a quote from some guy just to give it a buff when it was still sort of repairable and fixable. He did that, but it hasn't really come up as much as as nice as I'd like it, you know. So that could very well need to be painted again. I don't know, I'll suss it out. Right now it's not the biggest issue, you know. As good as it is to have your car cosmetically look good, it's not affecting the vehicle at all, so it's not a priority in terms of something to get fixed straight away. Okay, well, we're still at the front of the car. I had this Snorkel made up 4 years ago from a guy in Brisbane who I contacted online on Facebook. When these things first came to the market, I was one of the first in his shop, and it's a Snorkel from Fabulous Fab, I think the fabrication company is called. And I didn't know much about snorkels at the time, and I really wanted something different than the old Safari. If I had my time again, I don't know what I'd do, because I I like the Snorkel. You hear people go, oh, they're just a wank factor or this or that, or they're only there to look good, or but this thing in itself has been good. You know, the car gets parked outside, it gets parked in the weather, you know, it gets driven in the rain and heavy storms. I've never had any water issues, what people say, you know, so you know, you keep these decisions and these sorts of comments to your own personal experience. Don't go saying because you see something that you know everything about it, you know, unless you're some guy that installs snorkels or a mechanic that's had these in the shop where you go, hey mate, they let in a lot of water, then, you know, what do you know? I don't know anything more about it except this has been good to me as well. Can't complain, it's installed properly. You know, it doesn't add anything to your car more than a Snorkel should, but you know, with the windows are down, it adds that little bit of extra noise that maybe some car enthusiasts like to hear, you know, through the turbo sound and that sort of thing. But anyway, so this is what it looks like up close. Now I haven't washed my car for this, guys, so, and on the back end, they've got their little logo there as well. It came with these OEM side steps. I've wanted to remove them since I got the thing and put on some rock breakers, but I got kids and a missus who's very, very short, and so they use that a lot, and it has given me a reason not to remove it as yet. Okay, we'll go to the top of the vehicle. I put on a Rhino platform. So I started off with this backbone. At the time I wasn't sure what I was going to do, if I was going to get one fabricated. So I did get the backbone. I removed the racks that I initially put on there at the start. I put this Rhino rack backbone on, and that sat there for about 2 months before I even bought this thing. But I'm glad I did because, mate, this thing has been great. I'll get up here and show you. So, as you can see in these little grooves, you can put in some eyelets and they just lock and unlock, and you can move them around. So depending on what you have in here, you can legit put anything up here and move it around to as you like. And that's what makes this really suited for me, because I carry a lot of stuff on my roof when I go away. Around the other side of the car is pretty much the same as this, so I'm not going to get into that too much. Okay, we'll start here. I had this whole, initially when I bought this was just a dual cab and a tub. Okay, I'll try and dig up a photo if I can from when I did buy it. Otherwise, I know there's a mid photo where I just put the rims on it and different tires and that sort of thing. Anyways, I do have some photos of the build of the tray and the canopy, so I will put them in here for you to see. Okay, we're not going there just yet. What I did, I had the water tank. You can see that. I had that water tank idea in mind. I wanted it between the cab and the tray because at the time I didn't really know what I wanted. Like, I kind of wanted it built in the headboard. See, and in hindsight, I should have had that done. It would have brought this closer, but I have utilized this, and I really like this idea now that it's done. You don't see too many like it, but I can put in here, I can get some plumbing pipe, and you just sort of tie that to there as well, and you throw your fishing rods or your poles and stuff like that in there as well. Okay, so that's been really good. You know, it just gives me gravity fed water. I can hook up a pump to it, water pump, and go from there. Moving on, the canopy is all aluminium built. The tray's aluminium built with tie down rails, under boxes and guards. I did have these racks made up here as well, so you can carry more, and on top here I did put a solar panel. It's 150 and it does everything that I need it to do in this vehicle. I'll go around to the other side. What I want to do actually is do a review on this awning. It's only a recent purchase, but I have had it long enough to give it an honest review and what I really like about it. So maybe look to that in the next video. What it is a 30-second wing awning. you know, one of those, I did have just a King's awning, and that's one of the gear that I was trying to tell you at the start, which I transferred just to an old builder's trailer, and I use that like that. But this awning here is great, mate. It just one hand open up all the way around the vehicle, get all the extra shade. It's what they call a fox wing or a bat wing or an ostrich wing, or a, you know, so it's a 270-degree awning that goes around your vehicle. Anyways, I'll do a proper review on that because I think you might be interested or like that. If you're any sort of vehicle owner, whether it's, you know, a dual cab or a single cab, or even, you know, like an MUX or something like that. So yeah, I did put this, when I was building the tray, I just needed something to put where the fuel cap was. I'm not too happy with that. I'm gonna maybe get something lasered, like a cool design lasered in there, and I'll deal with that when I get around to it. Okay, so that's the canopy again. It's all alloy. On the canopy itself, what I did, it's just flat alloy. So I got some wrap. I got a mate here that has a custom shop that they do custom printing, and he just ended up getting a roll of vinyl wrap for me, which I paid him, I don't remember the price, it was mate's rates. It was really good. And we spent an afternoon just laying this wrap on it, and this has been on the car for 3 years. You know, it's definitely not going to last the test of time. Like, it's not paint, you know what I mean? It's not powder coated, but it looks really good. It kind of looks like there's solar panels mounted on the back. It's got that sort of honeycomb camo look, which I think just adds a nice little touch to the vehicle itself. Okay, moving around, what do we have? Okay, we go to the back of the car. You gotta see the back end. That's the back end of the car. What I've done, I have rear mounted just a spare wheel. I took it out from underneath the vehicle, because when you're in the sand, the hot sand on a summer's day, oh mate, you're stuck in mud and the vehicle's way down, you don't want to get under that car and remove that wheel. That sucks. Anyway, so I put it on the back. It's not the one to match the actual tyres at the moment. It was only so I could fit it. I did get the rear wheel carrier from Dun & Watson, and they were really good to me. There is a review on YouTube about that if you just flick through the channels. I put a dirty gear bag on it from ARB. It's got the side pockets, and it has enough there, you know, to throw the garbage in when we're camping, or even if we're just at a day on the beach, you throw your towels, or, you know, your dirty clothes, your thongs, whatever you want. It's a dirty gear bag. Use it as you see fit. I got this gas bottle holder from Top End Camp Gear. I think it was around the $200 mark. They were really good to deal with as well, and it's just a 2 kilo gas bottle in there. I do have on the roof also a 4.5 kilo mounted bracket, so I can put the 4.5 kilo gas bottle up there as well. Again, I got a Dun & Watson jerry can holder. I just mounted all this stuff myself to the back. There are reviews on this sort of thing online, as I said, but I think the back end came up really nicely. And so all I have to do is plug in my gas connector there, and it goes straight into the back of my burner or my barbecue on a slide out the back of my canopy. I could take this rack off. This rack here is removable. See that rack that goes all the way around? That's actually removable by nutserts in there. I can take that off as well, but it gives me something else to grab onto, something else to hang a towel over, you know, if you're camping or fishing, and just that little extra thing, but it's not really necessary. What else? That's about it for the outside of the car. Obviously these toolboxes, just click open. They've been really well made. What I did is I just drilled a couple of small little holes in the bottom. I don't know if you can see them, just in there. And that lets that moisture and dust that sometimes builds up in these small boxes, lets it out. You know, that all comes together nicely, clicks in together nicely. Let's go into the passenger side of the vehicle. Unit and radio. That's served me well. You know, just chargers and cords and things like that. A couple of little phone mounts. There's the GoPro mount there and there for when I'm driving. I did put on these nice sheepskin car seat covers, and there is those bucket mats there for the muddy feet. This is an automatic, and you know, just a steering wheel cover, that sort of thing. That was only like $10 or $12 from Kmart, and that thing's been bloody beautiful. That's a couple of years in there, you know. So now I do have 186,000 kilometers on the car, so I've put like 150 on it since I've had it in 7 years, you know. That's pretty good. So the car, to a lot of diesel enthusiasts or people with diesels, it's barely running, they would say. The car's been good to me. I'm gonna pop the bonnet and show you what I've done under there. It's nothing impressive, but then I can start talking about the things that has gone wrong with the car over time. Okay, so give me a sec, I'll pop the bonnet. Oh yeah, it does have the bonnet protector on there as well, which I didn't mention before. 1 inch up. Okay guys, so under here we have the Isuzu turbo diesel intercooled engine. I have had to replace probably batteries over the course of since I had the car, which seems pretty standard. Battery well just comes out to me whenever I need a replacement. I don't have to leave my driveway, and they've been really good with that. Everything in here has been pretty good. You know, I did get these stainless options from MUNJI, these intercooler pipes, and they've been really good, you know. They were only about 200 bucks, and I got them years ago, so I can't complain at all. Like, if you look at them, they're still like they're almost in brand new condition. So I think they are the better option than just the standard rubber hoses that you can get. Air filter. Everything in here is still really clean. Can you see all that? This is after having the car for 7 years, and obviously the previous owner. And I haven't, as you can see, I left the car in just a normal state. I didn't go over and scrub everything. So you might notice a tiny little bit of blow by somewhere. Let me go into these. Look at that. Barely nothing, mate. Like, it's just been it's been that good. When people say you buy these things with the engines and the motors in the car, they're not lying. You know, it's the best car I have owned personally that has had that reliability factor. If you're after reliability, you buy an Isuzu Dmax. Anyways, I'm not here to sell you the Dmax. You take these covers off. Some people do that, and that's what you see underneath. Looks a bit raw. I like the look of it either way, but you know, that stops the heat as well. Okay, let's talk about what I've had to replace in here. Apart from these pipes, nothing really. You replace the air filter, you know, all your oils, lubes, your fuel filters back here. I've had to replace that a few times. I serviced this thing myself. I've had it serviced so many times, and I replace the oil every 5,000, something like that. And that's probably why it's lasted so long. What else? That's about it for under here. And that's what I mean. Like, I can't sit here and say I've had to replace this, because I just haven't. But things that I have had to replace. So I did do this the other week. This right hand front wheel, I've had to replace the CV. So the CV boot itself had a little bit of a leak, and I'm sitting there going, how do I fix this? I've never fixed a CV before. And it turns out I couldn't get a part for days, and I'm just like, nah, not doing that. So a guy that I knew down at Bridgestone here in Harvey Bay, he said, mate, go and get a boot. Isuzu up the road have one. If you get the boot, it's a dying art, but I'll show you how to replace that whole thing without having to change the whole CV. We did do that. There's some pictures there, but after seeing that done, you can understand why people just replace the whole CV, mate. Like, there is so much sort of intricacy with, you know, taking the boot off, moving the bearings around, re-greasing it, all that sort of stuff, whereas you can just get a whole kit and just go click, and it's probably a lot better. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that. What else? We'll go inside the canopy. This isn't a canopy show, but while we're in the car, I'll show you the canopy. I built this 12 volt system here. I just did it myself. A couple of tools at home. What I did is I got a small little thin piece of ply to mount it on, because you see these gaps between the cages. They have these cages put on to tie everything to inside the canopy, which looks really good. So this here, just flick that, that opens, nothing there. It just shows what's behind this door, the cabling, and keeps all the cabling out of the way, which looks nice and clean, as you can see. C-Tech charger, just a fuse panel, you know, lights and all that sort of thing. A couple of Andersons, that goes to the fridge. You got your 2 USB ports and your SIGI port there as well. And that runs straight to the battery here. It's an AGM in there. I'm going to definitely upgrade to lithium when I get the cash to do so. And that powers the CFX Waco 50 fridge over there. These tools, they're just tools that you keep, you know, if something goes wrong or you need to help someone on the side of the road, or you're over a mate's place, or, you know, you just got tools in the car. That's the back of the canopy. I keep these small little aluminium chairs. They're great. They weigh not even a kilo. They're so light. There's fishing rod holder up there on the roof. I did have a different drawer layout over here with a cooker. The cooker does really well. I'll go around the other side, one sec. So this all comes out on slides. Probably a bit hard to do with one hand. Just push down the tabs. The cooker comes out, folds up. I connect that gas bottle there to that, and Bob's your uncle. We start cooking. I had a 3-tier shelving system here, and they are just the oat straws that you get from Bunnings or Kmart, and they've been really good. I strapped them down with a ratchet. So 1, 2, 3, it goes to the roof. And then there's just a bit of bench area and work area there. This is also on a slide, this fridge. Let me see if I can get this out one hand. That comes out. It's not on at the moment. Turn it off. So that's what it sort of looks like when you set up on the beach or going camping. And as you can imagine, with the big awning across protecting it all, it's just magnificent, mate, you know. So I'm really happy with everything. Obviously, I could do this layout better. Like, there's so many cool ideas out there on the market, you know, where it's all integrated with big fridge box, upright fridges and that sort of thing. But you know what? That's not me, and not everyone has to have the same layout. And I've had this for ages, you know, since probably before these canopies were a fad. It's well used, and all the stuff I have in here hasn't let me down. So you can't go wrong with that. It doesn't matter what you spend or what you hear. It just matters if you get your product and you like it and you're happy to use it, because, like, why spend? Don't get me wrong, I do like the other brands. I'm not knocking any other brands, but that's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, guys, that is my late 2012 Isuzu D-Max walk around video. Do another quick little walk around so you see it. Anyways, if you have any questions, please comment. Please let me know what you think. I kind of just shot this video in one, so I'm not going to edit much at all, so it's just raw. Any sort of Isuzu, any person that's looking to purchase a D-Max, I'm always going to say go for it. I'm not affiliated with Isuzu at all. In fact, I actually don't like their customer service. Their after sales customer service, I don't rate it at all. But the product, mate, apart from those later models that had all those turbo issues, you know, the DPF stuff, and the people that do pick up the lemons, which you get in any make and model and car, I'm very happy with my Isuzu D-Max. Cheers, guys, have a good one. And please, if you can, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Comment as much as you like. I don't care what the question is, because there'll be so much that I've missed here. And I just hope that you did like the video. Cheers again.